Welcome to the demo of the Peecockpit. The Peecockpit is my product that I made for the Peak MCP challenge that was running this week. The challenge was to use the Peak MCP server in a way that's adding value on top of the data that Peak is actually collecting. So what I've done is first have a look at the Peak MCP data. It's basically connected to that prompt, watching software. So basically it monitors LLMs and see which brands, topics, and clients are being shown. So this is the data you can get back, the brands, the prompts, then the individual prompts, the topics clustered, the text given, the models that are actually being tracked. Brand report, so it's an aggregate of the past 30 days, domain report, so which domains are actually visible in these chats. Individual chats that have been tracked. Search queries, so these are the fan outs that are used by the LLMs. Shopping queries, in this case, the client doesn't have any shopping queries. And the actions that are proposed by Peak. So Peak is doing one thing smart, is instead of only showcasing the visibility in these LLMs, it also tries to come up with certain actions to follow out of the data. What I did in this Peecockpit was basically combine the data with another set of MCPs, APIs, other endpoints. So I've used the Ahrefs for backlink tracking keyword volumes, the Ahrefs Firehose, which is basically crawling the web and seeing if there's any mentions of the specific brand, the Majestic API, best link data in the world. GEC widget is my own MCP server that directly connects to Search Console data and allows me on a programmatic scale to extract data from Search Console insights. Clippy is my MCP server. It uses 240 checks to make sure if a website is AI ready. It checks for simple things as structured data, but also content things like is data actually verifiable. Search Sentinel is my enterprise scale web monitoring tool. So currently it runs 30,000 URLs a second. So I can actually monitor my client sites, but also competitor websites over the period of time that's relevant. Firecrawl for on the fly crawling. I have the bots analyzer. It's basically catching the bot request. Not every client of mine has direct access to the log files, so this is a nice way around it. And the Reddit MCP, it's not an official one, but it's useful to actually extract social mentions, client mentions on Reddit. So that's what we're doing. Quick demo, the Clippy MCP data. So this is how this particular website is scored. So you can see the scores per URL and then overview of scoring per categories and the page types. So it works for different page types. Firecrawl, I'm not sure if there's actually data in it, but on the fly we can scrape. It actually says API key missing. Then the project itself. So my idea is mainly that most people don't want to have the daily prompt graphs, they want actions. So this is the report that's run every morning at 7. My agent runs the MCP analysis with all the tools and then comes up with the actions following out of that. And the actions could be, okay, check if the mentions on, for example, these external platforms are correct. What is the actual revenue attributed? This is really interesting. We dropped coverage on 2 specific set of prompts and it defines some actions. So the whole idea of this suite is that on the end of the day, you log in, you get this nice overview. You basically can say, okay, I want to prioritize this action, move it to in progress. Then we can actually track, okay, what's in progress, awaiting retrack. So every day it checks which ones are a retrack. So it can actually connect the actions that we did with the outcome. And the outcome is this. So we have this P&L dashboards. It shows, okay, which models are actually driving revenue, How does it compare to other channels, and what are the top cited pages, and how much revenue do they actually get, and what are the top sources. There's a really nice overview of the simple dashboard. Then for the weekly meetings, you probably have, this is a one slide uh, summary of the past week. Again, you can easily edit it and then send it over. You can download this markdown and easily edit. And then the 3 ranked actions that make it actionable again. Same thing for quarterly reports. We have the cluster map, ecosystem. So for me, the ecosystem means, okay, what are the sources that actually show up, just to give the client an idea of where they need to look at and what are the competitors doing. So this is a quick summary of that. For the multilingual ones, we can make a scorecard, which language do they do well, which ones do not well. The competitive landscape, so which competitors are actually being mentioned a lot and how are they doing. Again, I can easily add it and give some context to the losses. So in this case, the Google AI overviews got more links in it. The CTR dropped. So the base text of these reports are generated on a weekly basis, but you can easily edit them, as you can see, and then again we can download them. So once you have everything tracked and the URLs are in there, you can easily pick a URL. Then it shows the scores on the different things I find important. Again, the Clippy score, it's sum up, and then this gives also a summary to see, okay, what are the actual Clippy scores of the rest of the site URLs for this specific client, where you can easily compare it. And then for me, the journey is really interesting to see, also to manage expectations. Like in this case, the URL was crawled 1 day after publication. The first time it got indexed uh, after 3 days. Then these black ones, these are the external mentions of this URL. Then the LLM retrieved it, etc. So we have the whole timeline. This is on a URL level. Over here we can see, okay, these are the actual actions that we're taking. So you can see, okay, there was a gap to brief. That means that I noticed there was a gap for this client. We made a brief and we produced the content. Then at the bottom we can see the AI citation excerpts. This is based on the peak data where it shows, okay, for these kind of queries, or for these kind of prompts, the client has relevant content and the cited URLs from the competitors. To zoom out a bit, I also have this journey visible for the whole set of URLs that are relevant. We can say, okay, time to cite. So in this case, the solutions multi-channel page was the first one to basically publish or update and get cited again. So this is a really good overview. Then at the bottom, you can also see, okay, here over here we have a page that was crawled by Googlebot, but it was never picked up by any LLM. So we can take actions on that. Then we have the semantic engine. It's basically looking to where competitors turn up and we don't. I've created a algorithm to actually calculate where we need to impact. So the impact can be that, in this case, we write a listicle and we need to do some PR if we want to be visible for the best BIM software for multi-channel retail. Could also be that the content form is not good enough. So in this case, how to choose a BIM that integrates with major e-commerce platforms, the suggestions and how-to guide. You can actually do a deep dive. This has some data. Let me check. This one was actually calculated. So here you can say, okay, these are the cited competitors. We've calculated the semantic relevancy of the content they created and what kind of content. So this is the action. So it basically writes down, okay, URL content was analyzed. We need to create a listicle. We can do it in Google Docs, then Apollo. We can find people where we can reach out, and then in HubSpot we create the campaign for this client. So if you click on execute chain, then it will start showing up in the action queue. Then of course we have dashboards for monitoring the actual bots, the index health based on Search Console. My GSC widget is doing that for you. We have a simple competitor watch. We have a decay queue. So what are the pieces of content that have been performing but actually dropping off? And we have the prompt coverage. So this is where my tool is giving suggestions to add specific prompts to the peak uh, AI tracking.